Next time you buy a house, it's likely that you'll ask the realtor for a property with a nice loan. Well, turns out you're not the only one to want a piece of turf in your home. There are 50 million acres of managed turf in the US. This places Turfgrass third in total acreage nationwide. In addition, it's estimated that the turfgrass industry, in all its forms, is a $40 billion industry. But why loans? You'll certainly reply that loans are beautiful, and sure they are, but why not a Japanese rock garden? Those are beautiful as well. Well, it has a history behind it. In the Stone Age, hunter-gatherers did not cultivate grass at the entrance to their hut, nor was there beautiful green grass in front of the Roman Colosseum, the Athenian Acropolis, the Forbidden City in Beijing, or the Jewish Temple in Jerusalem. The idea to cultivate grass only appeared in the Middle Ages in French and English castles. At a time where no land mowers and no sprinkler system existed, well-nurtured lawns demanded a lot of workforce and a lot of time. And aristocrats and noblemen couldn't get anything of value from it. Walking on it or having animals grazed would trample the grass, so poor peasants certainly could not afford wasting time and land on lawns. So the delicate turf at the entrance of Gothic and Renaissance castles was a status symbol. If a traveler passed by the castle, he could see how powerful the noble family were. It boldly proclaimed, "Look at how rich I am. I have so much space and so many serfs that I can waste it on some excessively pretentious green turf." The bigger and neater the turf was, the more powerful you were. And if you went by a castle that had its lawn in bad shape, it was a sign that the nobleman was in financial difficulties. Then in Versailles, France, the lawn came to be the setting for important celebrations. French gardens were just an extent of the inside lounges, and some people considered the French gardens as grass turf carpets. The royal palaces and aristocrats' castles turned the lawn into a symbol of prestige and social status. At the end of the 18th century, the royals were overthrown, but the new governments kept the symbolic lawns. From parliaments to supreme courts and presidential palaces, the green grass was a way to proclaim power. In the 19th century, turf was reserved to the wealthiest, bankers, lawyers, and industrialists. But after the Industrial Revolution brought in the middle class, the ownership of a lawnmower and automatic sprinkler was made affordable to millions of families. But the lawn was exported beyond America and Europe. This model has become a universal dream. People who never visited French castles saw the American president give speeches on the White House lawn. Homer and Bart quarreling about whose turn it is to mow the grass, and big final World Cups being played on turf. From that point on, all over the world, people came to identify the lawn with power and status. So it is now no wonder that you find it everywhere on the globe. Qatar's newly built Museum of Islamic Art has big gardens flanked by trees that are more linked to European tradition than to the Arab culture. The gardens, designed by an American company, represent more than 100,000 square meters of grass, which requires a lot of fresh water to keep it green. At the same time, in the suburbs of Doha or Dubai, middle-class families now enjoy their lawns. And yes, it's true that lawns are pleasing and remind us of nature, but there are tons of ways to do that, whether it is through trees, bamboos, or a vegetable garden. So having learned the history of the lawn, you might certainly still want one, but you now know its history and have more freedom to imagine other alternatives.